Ezra Miller, charged with felony burglary in Vermont. The star of Warner Bros. Upcoming superhero pick The Flash allegedly lifted bottles of alcohol from an unoccupied home in May. Now, this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have not kept up with the Ezra Miller stuff. I don't know what's going on so far. I'm only going to be strictly talking about this. And I know I've said in the past that I want to stop talking about Ezra, and I did for quite a couple of months. There are things I actually missed in this timeline ever since Ezra Miller, from whatever the last video I made till now, a lot has happened, and I've not talked about it because I just don't find it relevant. But right now, I do want to ponder the question as to, what should Warner Bros. Do with the Flash movie, especially with these actual felony burglary charges in Vermont. Now, let's read the article. And the reason why I find this interesting is because apparently what they're saying is there's surveillance footage of Ezra Miller actually breaking into somebody's home. And so let's actually read this. So there's a new chapter in Ezra Miller's legal woes. The 29-year-old actor, best known for playing The Flash, a superhero in Warner Bros. DC Extended Universe, has been charged with felony burglary for allegedly stealing bottles of alcohol from a Vermont home. According to a police report posted online, Vermont State Police were notified May 1st of a potential burglary when residents of County Road in Stamford, Vermont, reported that several bottles of alcohol were taken from within the residence while the homeowners were not present. Following an investigation that included taking statements and reviewing surveillance videos, police found probable cause to charge Miller. The actor was ultimately located at 11:23 p.m. on August 7th and issued a citation to appear in Vermont Superior Court for an arraignment hearing on September 26th. It's unclear if Miller knows the residence of the home that was burglarized. The police report cites Miller's place of residence as Stamford, Vermont. The latest charges comes after Miller was arrested in April in Hawaii and booked for suspicion of second-degree assault. Per the Hawaii Island Police Department, the incident reportedly occurred when Miller was attending a get-together at a private residence and became irate after being asked to leave and reportedly threw a chair, striking a 26-year-old female on the forehead, per police. That came on the heels of a March arrest on charges of disorderly conduct and harassment following the incident at a karaoke bar in Hilo, Hawaii. Despite the arrest and swirl surrounding Miller's alleged behaviors, Warner Bros. Discovery chief David Zaslav said last week that the studio is committed to theatrical releases for a number of DC films, including the Miller-fronted The Flash. We are very excited about them. We've seen them, Zaslav said in reference to films like The Flash, Black Adam, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. We think they are terrific, and we think we can make them even better. And that's kind of it for the article. So kind of what they're basically trying to tell you is there was a burglary, and he did take a lot of bottles of alcohol. And apparently the main important thing is there's surveillance videos. So if Ezra is in those videos, then I think they are proven guilty right there. But we still have to go with speculation because I know a lot of people are a little sensitive to this. I know a lot of people are out there still defending Ezra Miller. And I know I kind of gained a little bit of controversy during the process with Ezra Miller. In fact, there's a video of mine that recently turned like a year ago. Or it turned a year where it was me criticizing how no one ever did anything about the Ezra Miller stuff that happened in Iceland. And like I said in the past, my frustration is it seems like people just kind of toss it under the carpet. Eventually it's going to boom. And right now we're seeing so much. Now, again, innocent till proven guilty. I've learned I kind of regret my previous videos, even though some of them went very viral, especially the Mia Solange one, which honestly, I don't know what happened with that, but I don't believe Mia Solange anymore, especially with how quiet she's been and how, I just don't believe her. And then we know that the thing happened with that one girl. What was her name? Gibson, something like that. I don't know. Dakota. I don't remember the name. There's so much right now. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not here to talk about whether he's innocent or guilty, whatever. I don't care. Unfortunately, I just don't have enough research to talk about that. So we'll have to wait and see and find out. But let's not deny it. Ezra Miller's reputation is out the window. It's done over. Ezra Miller. I'm going to be surprised if any big movie studio hires him after all of this. And I'm even going to be even more surprised if Warner Bros. Decides to keep him after the Flash movie comes out. Like, I'm going to be very surprised if that's the case. Now, about this burglary thing, I kind of have a little bit of a soft spot because one of the things I fear most is home invasions. The idea of somebody breaking into your place of comfort to do harm to you or to take any of your possessions that you worked your ass off to get, that's always just been something that's frustrated me, which is a part of the reason why, early on when the Ezra Miller stuff was happening, I was more frustrated, especially when we heard that they possibly broke into somebody's home and told them that they were gonna that they could kill him and their slut wife. I think that's exactly what he said. Somewhere around there, and that's kind of why I've kind of jumped off the Ezra Miller. I just went berserk. If you guys go back to a couple months ago, all I did was nonstop criticize Ezra to the point where it even got me in a lot of trouble because a lot of people were just assuming that I was being transphobic, anti-Semitic, which is pretty stupid and silly because these were serious allegations and some people have the right to feel a certain way. And that's the thing that I was frustrated with at the time. I got a lot of criticism for just talking about what I was told or from what we were hearing and feeling frustrated over it. And again, I'm not saying that Ezra did any of this. Again, I'm not there. You're not there. We have to wait and see and find out. But especially with this, I feel like if anything is going to come out of Ezra where they are guilty, it's probably going to be this very moment right now that's unfolding. And the reason why I say that is because they have surveillance video. And if they have surveillance, then it's going to be relatively easy to just arrest them or charges, whatever. I'm sorry, but if you're breaking into somebody's home, I feel a certain way about it. Now, the real question is, now, again, my channel is a movie talk channel. We are not a commentary on TMZ news. We are not a commentary on whatever politics, whatever. We are here to talk about movie news. And this does kind of come together. It connects with the movie news part because, of course, we know a little known movie directed by Andy Muschietti known as The Flash should be coming out in June of 2023. And right now, the big question is, is it ever going to come out? First of all, the movie was announced back in 2014, right when the first season 1 of The Flash was still airing. Now the Flash CW series is about to end on season 9, and we still don't have the Flash movie. We don't even have a trailer. I mean, we have that quick little teaser, but that showed us almost nothing. And the movie's a year away. It's been delayed so many times. I had many different filmmakers on board so many times in the project. And honestly, the big question is this movie ever going to see the day of light? Which I think they will, because the movie cost over $200 million. You're not about to throw $200 million down the drain. Not only that, but David Zaslav seems fairly confident. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but why did they drop the Batgirl movie? Well, here's the differences between the Batgirl and the Flash. And we're not here to talk about morals. We're not here to talk about Leslie Grace being a saint and then Ezra Miller being the devil. We're not here to talk about that. What we're here to talk about is the two movies. So Batgirl had approximately I think it had a budget of $90 million, while The Flash has a budget of $200 million. And in fact, there have been some rumors saying that apparently it almost cost $300 million. And now I don't really like to listen to early screenings reports. Those tend to be fake. I don't really believe them, but I'm going to take it for what it is now. Almost everybody that watched Batgirl said it was a mediocre movie. It wasn't good. It felt very CW-ish. Now, to be fair, the CGI wasn't finished, but still, a lot of people criticized the story, the movie, everything. While The Flash, you're seeing a little bit of a different reviews. You're seeing people come out of The Flash saying they really enjoyed it. They had a lot of fun. And, there's a bit of a difference. One is a $200 million movie that already cost a lot of money to make with a character that is very, very well known and very iconic. And then Batgirl is more of a secondary character who really people know, but they don't really necessarily care about. And it only cost $90 million. And not only that, but we know David Zaslav right now cares about DC. It's something that I'm excited for David Zaslav. When the Batgirl news dropped, I was a little cautious. I was like, wait, what? I thought it was dumb. I thought it was stupid. But then I thought about it a little longer. And I think ultimately David Zaslav right now is trying to change the narrative of DC, because us DC fans, we cannot deny this. We have been the second brother. We have been the forgotten sibling of Marvel for over a decade now. The MCU has completely triumphed over DC many times before, and I am somebody who is a hardcore DC fan. I love Marvel, but DC has always had a soft spot to me, and I'm a bigger fan of DC. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they have far more iconic characters, at least in my personal perspective. And DC, cinematically, even though I love the Snyderverse, and I still think that's better than the entire MCU, and I love a lot of the DCU movies, even outside of the Snyderverse, like the Suicide Squad or Aquaman, or although I would say Aquaman should be considered Snyderverse, I don't know, but I even like Birds of Prey. Even though I love the DCU cinematic universe wise, where is this going right now? Thinking about it, ignore all the rumors or all the reports. Where is the DCEU heading right now? It just feels random. You have the Batman getting his own movie. You have the Joker getting his own movie. You have, random movies even within the DCU. It doesn't feel all that connected. The only thing that felt connected was Aquaman and that new trailer for Shazam 2. But everything else, Birds of Prey didn't feel like it was in the same universe as BVS. It's feeling kind of weird and convoluted. And I'm so glad David Zaslav stepped in and said, hey, you know what? We need to hire talent. And you know who they hired? Alan Horn, one of the greatest people in Hollywood history. They got Alan Horn, who is literally, Kevin Feige has said this many times, Kevin Feige has credited Alan Horn as the reason why he became the producer that he is now. Okay? We have to put some importance on that, because a lot of people are forgetting that. And not only that, but David Zaslav right now has said that DC has a 10-year plan. They're creating a 10-year plan right now. They're hiring the right people. They're trying to figure out who is there. And they now have a long-term goal. When was the last time we heard DC have a long-term goal? It doesn't feel like we do. The last time was the Snyderverse. And even then, a lot of people didn't like the Snyderverse. And even then, they kind of gave up by the second movie, BVS. And they just wobbled that movie randomly. And then they started doing whatever. Like Justice League 2017 is kind of the example of that, and Suicide Squad 2016 and all that. DC needs its plan, and David Zaslav stepped in and said, hey, you know what, DC fans deserve better. Okay, a lot of the reports are saying the Batgirl movie wasn't good, and hey, you know what, they're not going to make any money off it. All right, let's put it as a tax write-off. Let's not release the movie at all. And you know what, get 20 million. You make a little bit of money. You weren't going to make anywhere near as much money theatrically. But this movie probably wasn't going to do anything, especially if the movie was as bad as some people say. Theatrically, wouldn't have made anything. And not only that, but streaming, who the heck was going to sign up for Batgirl? The only people who were going to watch Batgirl were the people who already had HBO Max. And maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 people that were excited for Batgirl. That's really it. And those 3 or 4 or 5 people would probably be people who worked on the Batgirl movie. Let's not deny that. 3 of them probably were all to count for Leslie Grace. And look, I wanted to see this Batgirl movie, and I still would. If Warner Bros. Ever invited me to go watch Batgirl right now, see the raw version of it that they have right now, I'd still go. I'd go in a heartbeat. I would have loved to have seen Michael Keaton again as Batman in that. But ultimately, if the movie was not going to be good, then you know what? Move on. DC right now is in a place where it can't afford a bad movie. DC right now needs to have consistency. They need a pattern, because that's what made Marvel successful. Marvel released good movie after good movie after good movie, and I'm not just talking about y'all's perspectives. I'm talking about the general audience. The general audience loved Iron Man. They liked Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger. Then it led up to the Avengers, and then after that, Captain America's Winter Soldier came out, Civil War, Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, all these, because they started creating a pattern to now whenever people see the Marvel Studios logo, they now feel trust. And that's the thing that you got to do with your audience. You got to gain their trust. That's why people went out to go watch the Lord of the Rings movies, because the first one was really good, the second one was amazing, and the third one was phenomenal, because throughout the process, they kept trusting more and more that they were going to deliver a good movie, because every audience member, at least the general audience goes to approximately 3 movies a year. 3. They're going to be very picky about what movie it is, whether the trailers look good, whether the reviews are good. They like to have comfort in knowing that, hey, this movie is loved by most people. That's why there's like certain movies, and Marvel Studios succeeded in that. When people look at Marvel Studios, they just want to go. Even people who had never picked up a comic started watching Marvel Studios movies. That's how successful Marvel's pattern has been, and that's what DC needs right now. DC needs a good track record. Right now, DC with the general audience doesn't have a good track record. Man of Steel was mixed with the audience. And then Batman vs Superman was far more divisive. Suicide Squad was very divisive. A lot of these movies were divisive after divisive. And the more and more you divide the movies, the more and more, the less that people want to go, because now they're like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this movie, because the general audience wants to go into a movie already thinking they're gonna like it. They don't want to go in there questioning it. That's just a normal mind. And I'm somebody who's a big Snyder fan. And look, I want them to continue the Snyderverse. I want them to do that. In fact, if they were going to right now, I'd celebrate, and I'd say it's a good idea. But the ultimate thing that DC needs right now is a plan. They need a pattern of successful movies. And if the Batgirl movie had come out and done horribly, guess what was going to happen? The Morbius memes. Now people don't even trust Sony. Even though I like Morbius. I liked Morbius. People don't trust Sony right now. Not only that, but what was the number one thing you heard after Morbius released? You heard a lot of people wondering, why did they ever release this movie? Who greenlit this movie? But now that a movie studio decided, hey, you know what? We're not going to release this movie because it's not good. Now y'all want to complain. Now y'all want to. It's a weird thing. I understand wanting to go see this movie, and I still would. But in David Zaslav, I trust. Now, he's only done half of what he's needed to do. The main important thing that he needs to do now, which will take a couple of years to see the process, is now deliver on good content. You've successfully deleted the content we don't need. The content that wasn't going to make you the money. You succeeded in that. But now you got to do the rest, which is the most important part, which is actually releasing good movies. Because a lot of people are not going to remember when you erase that Wonder Twins movie, which was one of the stupidest decisions I've seen. Why would Warner Bros. Greenlit a $40 million Wonder Twins movie on HBO Max? You already took that away. You took Scoob, Holiday Hunt, you took away Batgirl, and you took away a lot of other things. That's good. You did the first part. But now comes the hard part. This is the test right now. And if you don't succeed in that, then all of this meant nothing. And that is the most important thing under Zaslav. And I just realized this is an Ezra Miller video. Why am I talking about all of this? But that's the difference between Batgirl and Flash. Flash seems like they have trust in it. And not only that, but it already cost them a lot of money. Batgirl, there is no trust in that. And that's right now what DC needs. But the big question we do need to ask ourselves is, with the Ezra Miller stuff going on, is this going to affect the box office? If I'm to predict it right now, unless Ezra Miller commits murder, or if there's actual fundamental proof to the point where it's like Amber Heard level, that will change everything. But as of now, I don't think they should pull The Flash at all, nor put it on HBO Max. Release it theatrically, release it like nothing. And then after that, announce Ezra Miller gone. All right, that's the smart move right now. And look, this might affect the box office for all I know. But if I'm going to predict things, I'm going to assume I'm going to assume the Flash movie it's going to depend on how good or bad the movie is, the word of mouth, everything. But if we're looking at the Ezra Miller thing specifically, I don't think it's going to affect it that much. Maybe a couple million, that's about it. But that's kind of the difference between Batgirl and the Flash. And I know a lot of people want to say morals this, morals that. Ezra Miller did some bad things. Why are we still letting him have his movie while Leslie Grace doesn't? You have to remember that David Zaslav was not the one who hired Ezra Miller. He didn't greenlight this Flash movie. He had nothing to do with this Flash movie. He just came in, the Flash movie was already filmed, and he was like, all right, work with what we got. And now Ezra Miller's doing stupid things. And because of those stupid things, now it feels like it's now affecting Zaslav. Now it feels like it's Zaslav that's at fault when really he had nothing to do with it. And in fact, looking at how intelligent Zaslav has managed a Warner Bros. Discovery merger, I think without a doubt they're going to fire Ezra Miller. I don't see how they won't. But that's kind of a bit of a difference between Ezra, the Flash, and Batgirl. Canceling the Flash, if they were to, I wouldn't be too surprised. I'd probably be in the middle, but you gotta release it anyways. The only way you don't release it is if Ezra Miller actually does something with fundamental proof and something incredibly horrible, like if he's on murder charge, I know what he's at right now, the possible grooming and all this, That is incredibly serious, but we also have to remember there isn't 100% pure proof of it, of the allegations. We have to remind ourselves that. And I'm somebody who does believe Ezra is guilty, but at the end of the day, I am not the court. I am not the judge. I cannot say what they did and what they didn't do. That's all I have. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. You guys let us know in the comment sections, what did you think of what I had to say? Am I wrong? Am I right? I mean, ultimately, all I'm really saying is you got to release the Flash movie regardless. And there's kind of a bit of a difference between Batgirl and the Flash. And not only that, but, you know, it's going to be difficult for Warner Bros. You know, I understand Zaslav not really speaking on this manner, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see and find out. Hopefully, I do not talk about Ezra Miller in the next couple of months. And if I do talk about Ezra, I hope it's something positive. I really hope so, because I don't want to talk about this. Ultimately, I want to talk about this more because of the DC plan, the Batgirl drama, all this and all that. But anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.